Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's Jay McClendon, also known as VisualArtistJay, and you are tuned in to the Ambitiously Driven podcast, and today's topic is the journey to becoming.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Ambitiously Driven Podcast. I'm your host, Riddell. I want you to like, I want you to share, and I want you to subscribe. I am so happy and honored to have a young man, a thriving young man, successful young man with me to talk about this topic today, the journey of becoming. I have Jay McClendon.
What's going
Visual
on, bro?
Artist Jay, man. How are you?
I'm doing good, bro. How you doing?
I'm doing great now that you are here with me, bro.
For sure.
I appreciate you.
I've been trying to get here, bro. I know you asked me a long time ago. I'm like, bro, I got a lot going on in life, but I need to sit down, slow down, and once I get my things together, then we can, do it the right way.
Well, I appreciate you, man,
sure,
sacrificing your time to be with us, man. And
Yes, sir.
I just want to dive right into the topic, the journey of becoming. I know here in the city of Macon and so many places that you're doing such a great work in film, photography, videography, and there's always a journey to becoming.
Right.
So I want you to talk a little bit about what got you into the creative space.
Okay, so I told you earlier, and I done told the story a million times.
Yeah.
But sometimes when I tell the story, you tell something different every time. You know what I'm saying?
Agree.
So with me, bro, I went through a lot in life. But to get me started on where I am, when I was in high school, my mom bought me a camera. That was like, when you turn 18, that's the end of big Christmas gifts.
Yeah.
You grown now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Before you move out the house. So my mom bought me a camera. That was like my last big gift that she bought me. And I took it to school one day and I shot a basketball game.
Wow.
Yep, I shot a basketball game and I was like, oh, put the video together. Everybody went crazy. I went to West Side.
Yeah.
So I put the video together. Everybody went crazy. And I just kept going to the games, just shooting. Then eventually I came around to shooting my first music video.
Wow.
My first music video was $50, bro.
Wow.
$50. So did my first music video. It was horrible. Moved on from there. We started doing PC ciphers. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but we started doing ciphers where me and my boys, they went to Central. I was supposed to go to Central, but I ended up going to West Side.
Okay.
So me and my boys, we just started going to different schools. My bad, brother.
No, you good.
We started going to different schools, and we would hold ciphers. So of course it started at Central because that's where they went. So we did a cipher. After school, we all met up, let people rap, did stuff like that. We put it on the internet. I think we did like 20,000 views.
Wow.
So we like, hold on. You know what I'm saying? We need to keep going.
Yeah.
So then we went to West Side. West Side did numbers. So it got to the point where people on Twitter were literally waiting for us to drop this stuff.
Wow.
So I wish we would have kept it going to go further, but it's like once I realized what that was doing, I decided that, okay, well, if y'all ain't gonna get on board and keep something going, I'm gonna still keep the camera in my hand. So I went to college, I shot clubs, shot parties, did all kinds of stuff like that. And the guy that put me on the parties found me before I even got to college.
Wow.
He found me on Twitter.
Wow.
So that's how my journey started. I've had a bunch of different names. I done been Red Eye Visuals, Live Life Photography, Jay McClendon Photography. I done been a whole bunch of names, bro. And then I just finally woke up one day and I'm like, I need a new Instagram name. And I don't know, VisualArtistJay came up. And I just been going from there, bro. I've been going from there.
Wow. So I know you started off by saying you've been through a lot. And I don't want you to, give the full list of everything you've been through, but what are 3 things that you can say have helped you become the man you are today with VisualArtistJay? Or not even just VisualArtistJay, but in becoming the man that you are today?
First and foremost, God, bro.
Yeah.
God guides my life. You know what I'm saying? He makes sure that I'm on the straight and narrow path to get to where I need to be. And he's blessed me along the way of doing that. No matter how many mistakes I made, because I done did some crazy stuff. I done did some crazy stuff. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like God just really just kept guiding me and just made sure I didn't just fall off my path. So with that being said, the major thing that I went through that really like just really changed my life was me losing my mom.
Wow.
So I lost my mom in 2016 to colon cancer.
Wow.
She had colon cancer. She found out during my freshman year in college. So when I was in college, this was 2013. She told me about it, and she just kept telling me, like, just, focus on school. I'm like, no, I'm finna come home. You tripping. So I ended up coming home, bro, and got a job at Geico. I just wanted to make sure I was with her. You know what I'm saying? I stayed with her. My dad was there. Everybody was there. It was just easier for me to be at home instead of all the way down in Statesboro at Georgia Southern, worrying. So I came home, just worked. I kept telling her, like, look, my photography and video business is gonna go. I'm gonna make it happen. I don't know when, but I'm gonna make it happen. So she supported me, bro. Every time I took a photo shoot and put it on social media, she shared it.
Wow.
She was always sharing it. She was always supporting everything I had going on. If somebody needed a photographer, she's gonna refer me.
Wow.
So my mom stood behind the dream that I had, and it just got to the point where it was like, okay, you know what I'm saying? She just came into her last days. So once she got to that point, I just realized, like, okay, I don't really know what else to do. I'm gonna be lost trying to wake up every day and go to somebody's job. You know what I'm saying? So I'm coasting. I don't know what's going on for real. I'm just coasting through life. So I ended up going back to school. As far as why I went back to school, that was something personal with me and my dad. Like, we kind of like fell out after that. A lot of crazy stuff happened. So I just went back to school, bro. My mom left me so much money to the point where I could just go to school, and I survived for the next 3 years.
Wow.
Off the money she left me.
Wow.
So I focused on that. Ended up coming back home. Things didn't work out at college. I wasn't finna graduate. None of that. I couldn't even focus on doing it. I was down there throwing parties. Like, I'm down here throwing parties. I'm getting paid. And I'm just like, this is the way. So I invested in my equipment. I did everything I needed to do down there. And I just ended up back in Macon, bro. And I tried to go get a job. I moved my brother. I tried to go get a job. He was the manager at Dish Network.
Wow.
Manager at Dish Network. He got me a job. I worked that job for 3 months and quit.
Wow.
He kicked me out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because he like, you're not finna just be in my house and, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got you a job and you gonna quit?
Wow.
So we fell out about that.
Wow.
So kicked me out. I'm not gonna say I was homeless, but I was a little all over the place. I'm staying with homeboys. I'm staying with my girl at the time.
Wow.
Like, I'm just moving around. This whole time, everybody is on Instagram and Facebook, like, VisualArtistJay, but they don't know what's going on.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Because I don't put that type of stuff out in the atmosphere. So from there, bro, he kicked me out, and I just kept telling him, like, I can do what I want to do. Like, my plan is gonna work.
Yeah.
And I just kept grinding, bro. And I finally got me an apartment. As soon as I got my apartment, my car motor blew out. So I went and got a car. And I don't know, bro. Everything been God. Everything's just been God. But those are the things that just made me realize, like, I got to really lock in.
Yeah.
I got to lock in and make it happen. So that's where we're at.
So what would you say to somebody who may be in the same similar situation as you, where pretty much having to really get it out in the mud? What advice would you give to them? You know, they may feel alone, like their supportive system has left, and now, you know, they have to fight to get it out the mud to become. What would you say to that person?
I don't want to sound generic, but it's the answer, bro. God. Like, you got to trust God. You got to pray. You got to know what you want to do, because if you know what you want to do, that's how you're gonna get there. You can't just get outside and wing it every single day. See, that's what I was doing for a long time.
Wow.
I didn't start to flourish until I started to put my business plan in place. You write it down, make it plain. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And pray about it. God is gonna make it happen. If you have nobody else, then you got to understand that you got God at the end of the day.
Wow.
And you know what I'm saying? I got friends, I got homeboys that don't go to church. They don't talk about. I'm not gonna say they don't believe in God, but they don't talk about God. But they're in a whole nother space where it's like, even when I come around, sometimes I'm telling them like, "Boy, I got to go to church in the morning."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we might be at the club tonight, but I'm gonna be honest and real. I'm going to church in the morning, regardless of what I'm doing right now. So like, I just had to realize for myself, like, everybody is not gonna understand that part of the journey.
Wow.
They're gonna understand the fun part, but they're not gonna understand the spiritual part of it. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like that's what it is. If you lose everybody around you, family, friends, can't figure anything out, you better pray. And you better pray hard. But you got to work while you're praying.
That's good.
So, yeah, man.
Was there any part in your journey with, what you went through where you felt like God wasn't there, where you questioned God? Walk me through that right there.
All right, so I would say that's like right when my mom passed. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I watched my mom go from here to here real fast. Praying, no answer.
Wow.
Now she gone. So then you looking like, well, why? You know what I'm saying? Like, what I'm praying for? What's the reason to pray if you're not gonna answer the prayers? But I think what happened with me that made me realize that God doesn't give up on you was my mom prepared me for the situation.
Wow.
So I never forget, me and my mom had a conversation and she's just like, "I'm okay." And I'm like, "No, you ain't." But she like, "Yes, I am." Like, I'm at peace. Whatever happens, happens. I got God on my side. I did everything right throughout my journey. So when it ends, I know I ended on the right note. And I kind of just had to sit back and, just grow and get older to realize, like, that's what she was saying. Like, it don't matter what goes wrong, you still gonna have God by your side because many other blessings are gonna come behind it. So, like, for instance, yes, my mom passed away, and no amount of money can fix that or do anything. But when she passed away, she had her stuff in order to make sure that I could survive. Wow. If I never had that money for the next 3 years while I was lost and confused on everything, I probably wouldn't be here today.
Wow.
I would have crashed out. You know what I'm saying? Because it like, what do you do in that moment? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, bro.
When you think of the word becoming, what does that mean to you?
Growing into the person that not only you desire to be, but God has created you to be. And following your dreams and just growing to that success level that you know you need to get to leave a legacy for the people that's coming behind you. And that's your family, your kids, your wife, or just whatever. It can even be a cousin.
Yeah.
It can be anybody. But just becoming somebody that could leave a legacy for the other people to come.
What would you say to somebody that is struggling with becoming? They don't know what to do. They have their hands. You said something before the podcast where you said you have so many ideas, but you have to finalize one thing before starting the next. What would you say to that person who really doesn't know who they are in becoming? So they're doing this or doing that, trying to find themselves. What would you say to that person?
You got to find your clarity, first of all. You got to know what you want to do, find your clarity, and from there, bro, like the same thing that I said earlier, you literally have to figure out. You got to focus on one thing first.
Yeah.
You can't do everything at once. Something is gonna lack somewhere. That's not even just in business. That's in life in general. Like, for instance, some days I feel like I'm not being a good dad.
Wow.
But I'm a great photographer today. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or some days I might not be a good son, but I'm a great videographer today.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, those are the things where you just have to really, like, analyze and prioritize what's going on. You got to know and find clarity about what's important to you first. Once you focus on that and you can really just channel in and get that together, I think everything else falls in place.
I highly agree. What would you change the younger Jay if you could change anything?
When
Looking
when you
back,
say younger, how far are you talking?
as far back as you want to go, looking back at the man you are right now, father, successful business owner, entrepreneur, what would you have done differently for the younger Jay? I know with all you've been through, aside from that, what would you have done differently looking back now at the younger Jay?
And this wouldn't be any shade to the people that I grew up with. You know what I'm saying? Because I love all my friends. I love the people that I've been around my whole life, including my family, of course. But the younger me would have picked better people to be around that could give me information that no one else did. And I think that would have put me in a place to do things better because I've been in great positions that I didn't know what to do with.
Wow.
So I just think just making sure you connect with people that could really give you insight, you know what I'm saying, that you can grow with.
Do you feel like you are a person of insight, a person of information?
Yeah, because I went through it.
Walk me through that.
Yeah, so basically, like, anybody can call me. You know what I'm saying? If you need to know anything, that's why you haven't seen me host any classes, any workshops, nothing that causes me to charge anybody to get information from me, because of the simple fact that I just really believe that any type of information that I can provide to somebody can be a blessing.
Yeah.
So I'd rather let it be a blessing. Now, I'm not going to say I would never do a workshop or anything like that, but just in the state that I've been in, I feel like I've been growing and learning. And in the midst of growing and learning, I feel like you should be passing that along. You're not Mr. Miyagi yet. So you can't just jump out here charging people for knowledge when you still learning a whole lot.
That's good.
You got a lot you still trying to put together. You ain't figured it out. You ain't mastered it yet. So why not just help those that are really still in the position that you're in? They just haven't grown as far yet. So I never have an issue with just giving knowledge, bro. Everybody know you can call me anything if you got my number or text me or whatever. If you hit me on Instagram, I might not respond. I don't know. It just depends. Yeah. Instagram be having too much going on. So yeah, man.
And I want to touch on this.
What's up?
And this is going to lead to my next thing I'm going to say. With the journey of becoming who you are, with all that you went through, I know you talked about having the right friends and being around the right company. Did you have people to kind of uphold you, upgird you, to push you?
Before or after my mom?
After.
After my mom, yeah. So like,
and not because of so much of the situation, but just in general.
Just in general.
Yeah.
Okay, so
taking that situation out of the picture. Aside from that, do you think you would have had, all of that?
Like if my mom didn't pass?
Yes.
Yeah, if my mom didn't pass, I would have went further than I am today. Only because you got to think that set me back mentally.
Got you.
So I couldn't focus on business. I didn't want to go get a job. I couldn't do nothing. The only thing I wanted to do was forget.
Wow.
So it's just being transparent, drinking, smoking, partying. But in the midst of all that, I'm getting paid. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting paid, but I'm doing stuff that's throwing me off track of what's going on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I just think that once I kind of grabbed hold of it and controlled it better, that's when I started to grow. So just me losing my mom, I just think that just set me back. That set me back a lot of years, bro. A lot of years. And like I said, that was 2016. We're in 2025 now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Her death date was March 1st.
Wow.
So the top of the year, and it's crazy that we're doing a podcast and I got to talk about it, but it's like, it's the top of the year.
Wow.
Her birthday is February 21st.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So that first quarter of every year will never be the same for the rest of my life.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? But once I gained control over that and found clarity and found peace within it, then I was able to grow. I didn't start making decent money until I'll say probably 2020, bro. So it took me 4 years
Wow.
to really lock in. So I did good in 2020. I did good in 2021. I did good in 2022. 23 and 24 is when I seen a difference.
Wow.
Seen a true difference. So
And I asked that.
did I answer your question right?
You did. You
Okay.
did. And I asked that question because there's good noise and there's bad noise.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel in those moments you had some bad noise, even though it may posed as good noise? Do you feel like you had some bad noise?
Give me an example. I don't want to answer the question wrong. You gotta give me an example, bro.
So there's good noise and there's bad noise.
Right.
And I would say, in going through in the journey to becoming, people can often see who you are before you see who you are, or know where you're going before you know where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
So with saying that, did you encounter any bad noise that portrayed to be good noise, but it was actually
I honestly don't feel like I've
bad
encountered any
noise?
bad noise, bro. I don't feel like I've encountered any bad noise because I'm not cocky.
Yeah. I
So
agree.
you got some people that they get to a certain place in life or a certain level and they make everybody feel small.
Right.
I've never been that type of person.
I
So
agree.
I feel like nobody has been able to say, well, Jay this, Jay that. Every time I talk to people, they're encouraging me. They're telling me how great. Like when I walk in, y'all telling me stuff, and I'm like, bro, y'all doing too much. You know what I'm saying? Like you forgetting who you. I ain't gonna say you gonna forget who you are, but like, come on, bro.
Yeah.
You growing fast. You growing like real fast, bro. So I want to make sure that I'm giving everybody else their flowers too. You know what I'm saying? So people that don't give flowers are the people that encounter bad noise.
Wow. Say that one more time. That's
The
good.
people that don't give flowers are the people that encounter bad noise. I make sure I give everybody flowers, especially the people that I talk to and they actually learn something from me and they take it and apply it and go to the next level. I'm gonna make sure I'm proud of you, bro. Like that's always been me. So yeah.
And I would say, that is, you mentioned about having the right people and, the right company. And I will say this as proof and evidence. We may not talk every day.
Right.
But I will say there are times, honestly, where I'm just in my head like I'm not where I want to be.
We all do that. I still do that today because I got friends that are way beyond me. And that's what people fail to realize. Like, yeah, I might be a big fish in Macon, Georgia. That's cool. But when I go on my phone and I'm talking to people like Creative Ryan and YC Imaging and Champagne Nuke Kendall, like those people are doing bigger things.
Yeah.
They're on levels and making money that we all inspire to get. And even them, they're looking at people that are bigger than them. It's always going to be somebody that's doing something better. That's why they say never stop learning.
That's right.
I always have a mentor that can teach you something that can take you to where you want to go.
And that's what I was saying, I appreciate you because there have been times, you've texted me out the blue, I see you, keep up the great work. And I think that's, it's vital, it's important in the journey to becoming, in a humble way. Because oftentimes, that's why I talk about good noise and bad noise. Because sometimes you can be your own bad noise. So to hear good noise outweigh that bad noise will help the journey in becoming.
Even just, I don't mean to cut you off, but even just by you saying that, I think when you said you could cause your own bad noise,
right?
I think my only bad noise is me having a communication issue. I'm not gonna say it's a communication issue, but it's like once we start talking, I'm locked in. But some days I wake up, I don't want to answer DMs.
I feel you.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm good today. You know what I'm saying? It's not to make people mad or make people feel like, oh, he just don't want to take my pictures or he just
Right.
don't want to do this. No, that's just not a part of my plan right now.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sorry, but there are plenty other people that could be used. It'd be different if I was the only person here. It's other great people out here. So I know if I'm not able to answer DM, you're gonna talk to somebody. Somebody's gonna make sure they take care of you. So I had to get to the point where I had assistants and stuff that just answer my emails, bro. Cause I hate it. I'm not gonna lie. I just like to do the work. I like to do the work.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's my main thing. So I think that might be the only thing that people have ever said about me. He don't respond. And I'm like, it's not that. I'm not doing it on purpose.
Yeah.
It'll be different if I was opening people messages and like, nah, I'm not doing that. I'm just not actively in my DMs all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
So how do you balance your work life? I know you
don't.
said you've hired assistants and stuff. So
I don't, bro. I'm horrible.
what do you think you need to do? What's the first step you think you need to do to balance more in this becoming? Or what's your stance on balance? How do you feel about balance? And then answer, what do you think you need to do to create a more balanced, healthy way for you?
My stance on balance. Like I said, I can't really say, bro, because I'm just a person that wakes up and I'm all over the place. I don't realize I need balance until I'm lacking somewhere.
Wow.
So you know what I'm saying? Like that's how you really realize what balance is. When you're doing so much and you see how great something is, and then over here you see this getting weighed down. That's like looking at a scale in real life. Now you got to figure out how to do this. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's one of the main things. But Pastor Jordan told us one day, he was like, in order to really grow in life, you have to learn how to be more proactive than reactive to what happened yesterday. And once he said it, I lost my mind.
Wow.
Because I'm just like, that's real. Because I've been waking up. Because I've been through other situations where, and it's a whole nother story, but like, I'll say financial situations. I've seen a lot of money, but I've messed up a lot of money. So it put me in a space where I got depressed. I started feeling a certain type of way, like, man, I could have been and did this. I could have bought a house for my family. I could have got the cars I wanted. I could have even went and got my VisualArtistJay chain. I could have did all this stuff by now. But I made mistakes based off the fact that I lacked the knowledge on what to do with that money at the time.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So I had to look back and realize that God probably took that away from me so I wouldn't mess up too soon. I had to learn my lessons. And now when it comes back around, I know exactly what to do. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the point that I hit. So just back to what Pastor Jordan said, being more proactive instead of reactive. I've been waking up for the past couple of years every day just thinking about how I'm going to get my money back. How you going to get your money back? How you going to get your money back? How you going to get your money back? We talking about money from 2020, 2021.
Wow.
You're trying to figure out how to accumulate that again when you should be waking up worrying about what's going to happen tomorrow, how to get ready for tomorrow. Stop thinking about yesterday. The past is the past. It's gone. You just got to be proactive in getting tomorrow together.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel about balance, bro.
That's good stuff, man. I appreciate you coming with us here on this podcast, man. And I know you shared some transparent stuff to help a lot of people who are entrepreneurs, who are battling with becoming and on their journey to becoming, man. Is there anything else you want to share with us in these final last words?
Not really, bro. My mind really been all over the place.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, it looks good on social media, but I'm still figuring it out.
Of course.
But once I figure it out, and that's for anybody, like once you figure it out, the key is to just make sure nobody knows that you're just, if you're like spiraling out of control, don't let the world see that. Even though I'm saying it now, you can't let nobody see that. You just got to do what you got to do to keep it going. You know what I'm saying? And then once you figure that out, like I said, just keep God first. If it weren't for God, I wouldn't be where I'm at. Honestly, if it weren't for Hope Church, I didn't even start flourishing for real, until I started working for Hope Church. And they called me in 2021.
Yeah.
So I've been there since then, to the point where when I first started doing work with them, it was just contracted work.
Yeah.
So, hey, can you do a video here? Can you do a video there? And I started going to church for real. So, like, even when I didn't have nothing, I'm just going to church. Then it got to the point where I'm shooting at church every Sunday. But then it got to the point where they're like, you know what? We want you to be our production manager.
Yeah.
We want you to manage our production. So now I don't even shoot anymore.
Wow.
I just manage the team.
Wow.
You know, when we go live and the lighting and, you know, everything like that, I'm making sure that's in place.
Wow.
So, yeah, bro.
Man, that is amazing, man, because I've seen you there, man. And I would just say, you know, faithfulness will get you a long way, man.
Yeah.
And in closing, nobody ever has to know what you're going through. But I believe you just being transparent enough, because I didn't even know, you know.
Right.
You were bouncing from house to house during that
that's
time.
what I'm saying. Nobody knows this stuff.
And still being successful, still thriving, still producing, still making other people's vision come to reality when in fact, you
that's
know.
always been my goal, bro, to help other people. So like how we was talking about earlier, when people want knowledge from me, you know what I'm saying? I don't mind giving it. When people need my vision to help flourish what they have going on, I understand that creates their legacy, that feeds their family. You know what I'm saying? That just helps them grow as a person in general. If I can put my vision behind that and help you grow doing that, then I'm doing exactly what I need to do.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's just been my goal, bro. That's how I started doing stuff for businesses versus just doing regular, you know what I'm saying, like regular client work. I want to help businesses because I know they need a return on their investment.
Wow.
And that's how I grew my business.
Listen, the world is better because of Jay McClendon. The world is just so much better, bro. For real, I know you talk about it, and this is in closing for real. I know you talking about gaslighting and all that type of stuff, but just like you said, you believe in giving flowers. I believe everybody that comes in contact with you or hears about you or knows about you is giving you the flowers that you deserve because you've earned it. You've sacrificed, you've suffered, you're still journeying to become. So you earn it, man. We appreciate you for the work you do, bro. Man. Your heart, you know, just your hands to serve, you know, it speaks volumes. And I believe anyone can attest to that. So my encouragement to you is, man, keep pushing no matter the obstacles, no matter what it looks like right now with what you have going on, man. Just keep pushing. As we know, all those things are distractions.
Right.
I believe this year is going to be a great year for
2025 is it.
It's going to be a great year for you.
Not just me, bro. 2025 is it
for
everybody.
all of us. Yeah.
It's it.
Yeah.
And I always said 2024 is the year where I would feel a real growth, but 2025 is the year where the takeoff happens.
Yeah.
So we gonna see.
Man, let's take off. Let's take off.
Yes, sir.
Bro, I appreciate you for being on this episode again, sharing your transparency, your tips, your knowledge, your heart, man. Again, we appreciate it. I'm talking for everybody now. We appreciate you, man. I want you guys to like. I want you to share. Subscribe to this channel. Follow my brother. If you ain't following him, follow him right now.
Yes, sir.
VisualArtistJay on Instagram.
All platforms. All across the board.
There you have it. All across the board. Until next time, God bless.